So our great-grandfather moved from Manhattan in 1887. And he came here to run a rubber boot factory called the Goodyear. My grandfather was a councilman, and in 1918, he was elected mayor. His name is on the plaque for the Aragoni Bridge that was opened in 1938. Our dad was born here in 1924. In 1967, he was the first full-time emergency doctor in the state of Connecticut in a community hospital. And he was here when the Shoreline facility was first opened as the first freestanding emergency department in the country.
My grandfather, Bud McDowell, actually was the first physician here in the ER, so he kind of built the emergency room. His plaque is outside the ER, so anytime I go down to the ER to do a consult or admission, I walk by, I see his face.
Back when I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, my father would bring us here.
He'd put us in the office and the secretaries would watch us as he made the rounds.
And occasionally even taking us onto the floor to round with him.
I also was fortunate enough to go with my gram when she would do some of the Red Cross blood mobiles in time and actually observe her as a nurse, and people just loved her. It was so exciting, and just to hear the people talk about her, and she had such pride in her work and helping others, and it really inspired me to want to be a nurse.
Mom had always wanted to be a nurse, and in her early 40s, she decided to go back to school and pursue 5 years nights to get her degree and follow her dream.
My mom and I were 2 years apart in nursing school.
And she worked 25 years and was able to impact so many lives. And I always knew that I wanted to try to be as good as she was.
Growing up in a household with a doctor, one of the questions that would always be asked is, so are you going to be a doctor like your dad?
And they started buying me stethoscopes and scrubs when I was like 2.5 for Christmas.
I was a Middletown boy.
Liz and I went to Mercy. Steve went to Xavier.
Born here, both of us, right? Had my daughter here.
My dad's a police officer, so a lot of people know him from town.
There are tons of family members that work here. You know, you see them in every department, like brother and sister.
My nephew Chris and I work weekends together a lot.
Nicknamed us Batman and Robin.
My husband's father, Richard Sweet, was a orthopedic surgeon at Middlesex, and his dad was a orthopedic surgeon as well.
My father's best friend was Dr. Sweet. In fact, his father, Alfred, was one of the first orthopedic surgeons here, and the Sweet family grew up actually on Crescent Street.
It really is family here. I really feel that, you know.
And a lot of the people that work here are from the community.
Everybody's like close-knit.
I mean, it's a foundation of the community. First of all, it is the place where people are born, people come to get care.
My dad became ill with Parkinson's, unfortunately, when he was 50 years old. And he had a long struggle, and he ended up passing away in 2008. We had hospice at home through Middlesex, and I just felt like I wanted to give back. And I started volunteering here on South 7, wearing the little red jacket, and really liked it, which surprised me because I never thought I'd be a nurse. I love it.
My husband was diagnosed in 2013 with a glioblastoma. And in fact, it was diagnosed here.
Dr. Randy Goodwin had single-handedly the largest impact on the quality of medical care in this community and in this hospital.
And it was so comforting to us to have the people who cared for him be, for example, residents that he had worked with in the residency program or the doctors that he knew here. It was very, very comforting to me.
When both of us used to work clinically a lot, we'd actually work together, and being able to talk to each other during a shift and bounce things off of each other with someone that you trust fully and you know that they're going to give you their unbiased opinion about how to manage a patient, I've always enjoyed and found really helpful. Meg and I have been here for 23, going on 24 years.
Our daughter Kate recently joined in as a PCT at the Marlborough Emergency Department.
There's a large part of our organization that's been here much longer than us even.
It's a good culture to have a good relationship with your team. You know, they know everything about you and you about them, so side by side we work very well together.
Day to day, we try to provide the best care that we can to our patients, and knowing that we can rely on each other.
We laugh, we joke, we cry. We feel for each other when things go wrong.
We weather the storm together, and we know that we can rely on each other.
You know someone is always there, somebody who will have your back.
We have a culture here that I think is really unique. I describe it as a family, and I think it's that culture that allows us to provide great care and great experience to our patients.